Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hope you're doing well. So, I came across this post on social media, and then I went and looked it up, and I found it to be something so bizarre, which is a toe tuck surgery. And this is a good example of why I like Islam, because since Islam helps a woman to cover and your feet are not exposed, you're not constantly scanning other women to compare yourself to. And this really does help reduce envy, evil eye, and insecurities, I argue. In a society where women are getting fake butts, fake lips, fake eyelashes, lots and lots of makeup, wigs, extensions, fillers, I mean, it's just even contact lenses of different eye colors, just on and on and on and on and on. It can get to be to the point where you don't even know what that person really looks like when they were born, and you see there's a giant market of female insecurity. The more flesh that is exposed, the more women feel they have to show, and the more they start to hate their own bodies. And see, modesty covers up so much of your imperfections, and you don't feel that desperate need to get validated from other women or men who have really strange standards because they watch cartoon stuff and computer generated female images, and instead you just accept the human body for what it is and you accept aging. And this toe tuck surgery is so dumb that it's mind-blowing that women would even go through with that. Like, how broken are you to the point where you don't like your own toes? And in reality, when has a man ever told somebody, like, I'm not gonna marry you because one of your toes looks too big? So who's it really for? And the amount of self-butchery that a woman will go through just for men, and for the awes of other women, is quite strange. Because you're only young and beautiful for a very short time, and then the aging process kicks in. And you can be like Joanne Rivers and die on your last plastic surgery session, or you can age with grace and find something else to focus on besides your reflection in the mirror. Okay? The male gaze is so powerful that it has women wanting toe tuck surgeries. And women valuing their body in terms of its relation to the ability to get men stimulated is quite strange. I often am shocked about the number of procedures women will do, and when they are so desperate to get plastic surgery that they act strange. There's a movie with Brad Pitt and George Clooney called Burn After You Read It, I think it was called. And one of the main characters is a woman who keeps crying because she can't afford a bunch of plastic surgery. And she ends up discovering some government official's weird memoir CD, and her friend gets murdered. And in order for her to be quiet and not seek any type of justice for her slain friend, they offer to pay for her plastic surgery, and she agrees. So she basically hushes up so she can have money to do plastic surgery. And there's a guy who likes her, but she doesn't like him, and instead she wants plastic surgery so she can go out there and get this dream guy, when then her boss, who works at the gym with her, likes her for who she is. And it's very interesting because you can tell when a woman has had work done. And you can tell, I think, the women who actually have very high self-esteem and don't get plastic surgery, because the plastic surgery is for others, it's not really for yourself. And grasping to youth so that you can have the capacity to sleep with young men is quite odd. And I think when people focus on building their souls and seeking the hereafter and maintaining a healthy lifestyle and a spiritual one, they won't focus so much on plastic surgery. And plastic surgery as well is quite selfish, because you're spending so much money for the male gaze when you could use that money to build water wells, plant more trees. You can use that money to do habitat restorations, donate food to food banks. Excessive cosmetic surgery doesn't stop the aging process. And if a man only likes you after certain things, is he really gonna like you? Because that's not really you, that's a lie. And I argue that since we didn't have plastic surgery for thousands of years, I think that's actually how beauty was created, because it wasn't the illusion. Men would see a woman they actually liked, she had features that he actually liked, which were passed down to the children, and beauty became more and more beautiful because her real features were there. The true form of women was there. Now men can become eunuchs and can cosplay as women and vice versa, and now things are getting really wonky in this artificial bubble that's all an illusion, all based on lies. So the world is being propped up with a different kind of fake illusion realm, where things are not as they appear. And it's sad when people look to plastic surgeons to be these sort of maniacal magicians on their bodies, instead of saying, okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are gonna perfect me inshallah in paradise. I'm gonna focus on something more important than vanity, because you can never get to the bottom of vanity. You're just gonna keep going and going, and then you'll find something else to hate, something else. And it's really strange when you look at people who have had a lot of work, because the more they get, the more it shows. And the more you should be a little standoffish. It's quite strange. You'll see women who will say, I don't need no man, and then get a bunch of plastic surgery in order to impress men. That's their bait to get the man, they think. It's like a mating strategy. Okay, I'll get a bunch of plastic surgery, and this will help me to land the guy of my dreams. Is that necessarily true? And if you recall, there was a viral case where an Asian man had married a woman who had over $150,000 of plastic surgery, and the children, he said, came out very ugly, because that's your real genes. And you can look this up if it's still out there. But it was quite a very important case, because it showed the before and after plastic surgery, and it's like a whole lie. And I find it to be quite sad that the mother will not really... Well, she knows what she looked like before plastic surgery, but the daughter, looking at herself in the mirror and not seeing the reflection of her mama. Because there's something special about that. When you give birth and you see your features on your child, and when they age, you see a reflection of you. And that helps you to bond to your child. You see yourself, and they see you, and it's a special thing. But if you're some really just Frankenstein creation filled with all these chemicals and fillers, and you're getting sliced up like pepperoni, well, that is a little different. I've heard men say that they want their kids to look like them. So they'll say like, oh, I really want to be with somebody who, if I'm with them, the children will look like me. And I find that to be quite interesting. So if you get so much different surgeries, it reeks of insecurity. And there was also plastic surgeons who were giving leg extensions to men by doing something to their knees to make them taller. And that's brokenness. If you have charisma, a woman will pick you regardless of your height. Because there's two different mating strategies, I'd argue, that are really main. The woman who wants the giant protector who overpowers her, or the woman who is she's taller than her man, and she's very elegant, and she has kind of a shorter, brutish, scruffy man, you know? And she likes that because she feels more of like she's the prize. And I'm more of that kind. I'm taller than my husband. I'm tall. Not as tall as the giant pearly things, but I am tall. And my husband is shorter than me. And I never picked someone based on height. It was about body, personality, you know. And I like Latino, so the color of his skin is nice and brown, and that was something that I liked. And so, you know, and he's indigenous, so he's Mayan from the Yucatan Peninsula and grew up in a very rural village. So he's like you know, we have Native Americans in America, and they're indigenous. He's like the indigenous, but of Mexico. And I like that. That's something I wanted to mix my genes with and create beautiful children. Alhamdulillah. So he didn't have to get plastic surgery. He just had to work out and be fit and, you know, be who he was. And so when men are getting plastic surgery to alter themselves in ridiculous ways, that's getting some type of extensions to make them a few inches taller because women claim that they want to have these tall guys, it's just not true. It's just not true. If you got it, you got it. Okay? And if you can have a guy the same height as you who has more money, and you can have a guy who's tall with a little bit of less money than that shorter guy, and sometimes the women, they usually, I'd argue, usually, it's a hard way to put it, but money plays a role. I mean, if Biggie Smalls can get women, and he's horrendously ugly and obese, then obviously a decent person doesn't have to worry about height, regardless of what the women are claiming they want. And if they get bred out of the market, they get bred out of the market. But trust me, there's definitely going to be women out there who don't mind dating someone shorter than them, / marrying, right? And so this toe tug surgery, it's just quite repulsive. You don't need to do that to yourself. You don't need to just find every little tiny thing. See, it started with the nose jobs, then facelift, then a tummy tuck, then now toe tug surgery. It's just on and on and on. And some women having ribs removed so that they can have a different shape. I mean, if you're chiseling, like Kylie Jenner, she got her jaw shaved down, and that's a very popular thing. There was another lady who I covered in one of my last live streams, but she also had a lot of work done. $10,000, I think it was, and she also had her jaw shaved. And you're like, what is going on here? This is strange. I think there will become a time where there's so many artificial women that they'll all be clones of each other, and then the natural woman will stick out and become the new beauty. I really do believe that. Because staying natural shows that you're actually securing yourself. You're not chasing the male gaze. And someone who needs a lot of plastic surgery needs constant attention from men. And is really broken on the inside, I'd argue, personally. And the proof is in the pudding. You know? I will, inshallah, practice what I preach. I'm not 50 years old yet. May Allah let me live a long life. A long, healthy life. But I don't plan on getting any of that stuff. No, thank you. I don't like going under anesthesia. I'm not trying to have problems with antibiotics, or I don't want nobody slicing and dicing. So I'm not into that. But Islam helps to curb the body checking and the self-hatred, in my opinion, because there's less envy. There's less things to scan and compare yourself to, and you just start, your brain focuses on more important things. And I think that puts society in a better way, where the human body isn't the sole focus. It doesn't mean you're endorsing obesity, but rather other forms of excellence. You can have people wanting to work out and stay healthy without promoting plastic surgery. You see what I'm saying? Let me know what you think. How are your toes? If you'd like to support my work, you can do so by going to www.subscribestar.com/MilahanArchive. Hope to see you there.